Good morning, kids. The other day we stopped at page 51. Three paragraphs we have covered. I just try to refresh your memories, saying we are passing through Claiming an Education by Adrian Rich, and we covered three paragraphs that day, and we are moving to the third paragraph. The gist of what she says is, women are ignored everywhere. Women are ignored everywhere. Men are treated, considered everywhere. That is the main point she is trying to tell you. And third paragraph, I am starting, you can open your book at page 51. Your book that is Zeitgeist, page 51, second paragraph. Black and other minority peoples have for some time recognized their racial and ethnic experience was not accounted for in the studies broadly labeled human. That is, the word labeled you can note in the second line. They spelt this word as L-A-B-E-L-E-D. This is the American spelling. We have to write L-A-B-E-L-L-E-D, double L. So black and other minority peoples, that is she is speaking about the people in the United States, have for some time recognized that their racial and ethnic experience, R-A-C-E, race, RACE, race means division according to the color of the skin of the person, color of the skin, race. Ethnic, it's a word similar in meaning to race. Ethnic means a person belonging to a particular tribe, a particular place, particular nation, like that. We can say Indians, Pakistans, or South Indians, North Indians, like that. So that is ethnic. Race is division according to the color of the skin. Some people are less considered in society because of their race. So these two words you have to study. One is race, the other is ethnic, ethnicity. Ethnic means, the second line, racial is the adjectival form of race, R-A-C-E, race. Race, I repeat, division or separation or segregation on the basis of the color of the skin. And ethnic means relating to a particular race, country, tribe, and their customs and their beliefs. So women have understood, or women understood, that their ethnicity, their race, nothing is considered in the education that is given to them. Again, the reference is to the United States of America. They have recognized that their racial and ethnic experience was not accounted for in the studies broadly labeled human. The studies are labeled very human kind for the betterment of the society, of the people, all syllabus. They are told that this syllabus is meant for the betterment. These books are meant for the betterment of the society in general. There is no division. There is no consideration of skin color or race or ethnicity. But in practice, what they have noticed is nothing like that. So their experience, the ethnic and racial experience of women, have not been included in the syllabus of the so-called men-oriented, men-controlled universities. For many reasons, it has been more difficult for women to comprehend our exclusion. You know, exclusion, inclusion. Inclusion, opposite exclusion. You include me in your group means I am there with you. You exclude me from your group means you ask me go out, don't come near, don't come to our group. That is exclusion and inclusion. And comprehend here means understand. For many reasons, it has been more difficult for women to comprehend our exclusion. Women have been excluded, removed, thrown away from the mainstream society. But for a long time, women did not understand this point. And to realize that even the sciences can be sexist. There is no sexism as we understand in science. But this writer, Adrienne Rich, tells you that there is, even in the United States, even the sciences can be sexist. What the word sexist means, in a person who believes that one sex is weaker, not strong. Naturally, you know, women are less strong, men are very strong. One sex is superior to the other. So we refer to women sometimes as the weaker sex. The dictionary meaning will tell you the weaker sex refers to women in general. Now, the author does not agree with this point. She says even the sciences can be sexist. Sometimes even the science you study at the level of the university is sexist, meaning even the sciences are pro-men, supporting men, not women. For one thing, it's only within the last 100 years that higher education has grudgingly been opened up to women at all. And you know, this was written in about 1977. So you can say when she says 100 years, we should take it as 150 years. Now, we are in 2020, so we can say 150 years back. She has written 100 years, you should take it as 150 years back. It's only within the last 150 years that higher education has grudgingly been opened, unwillingly been opened. Grudgingly, the usual meaning of grudging is different, but here it means unwillingly. That is, in Malayalam you can say manamilla manasode. Grudgingly been opened to the women at all. So only during the last 150 years, women have been given, or they started giving women education, even to white and middle class women. There were times when even white women were not educated. White women. Within 150 years, they started giving white women also education. So understand, there was a time when even white women did not get education. Even to white middle class women. So lower class, they never got. Middle class, upper class and middle class. Lower class, they never received education. That is 150 years back. And many of us have found ourselves poring eagerly over books with titles like, poring here stands for reading. Here, poring, reading. P-O-R-I-N-G, poring, reading. Eagerly over books with a title like, and there are some titles. One is The Descent of Man. You understand, in every title there is a reference to man. The descent of man, man and his symbols, irrational man, the phenomenon of man, the future of man, man and machine, from man to man, may man prevail, man, science and society, one-dimensional man. Books pretending to describe a human reality that does not include even over one half of the species, human species. So you understand from these titles. No, this is explained to you by Adrienne Rich, not me. I am not saying, it's not my opinion. She says in the books titled all these books, some 10 books, you have 11 times the word man repeated, never once a woman, a womanly thing. So everything is pro-man, never supporting woman. So these books women read. But I tell you one thing, that in the former past, if you refer to English, old English dictionaries, man stands for human race. Not for man only, not for woman only. But this, in this text, the author feels that this is unjust, this is cruel, because nowhere woman is taken care of. Only man. You can underline all these men, some 10 or 11 times they have repeated. And pretending to describe, pretending, pretending to describe a human reality that does not include over one half the human species. If you take the human species, women consist of one half of the population, not just men. Women consist of half the population in the world. Even then, she is not given any consideration. Less than a decade ago, that's the next para, less than a decade ago, with the rebirth of a feminist movement in this country, that is, after 1960, the feminist movement started. Feminist, I told you the other day, feminist means pro-women, supporting women, and a movement for the support and well-being of women. With the rebirth of a feminist movement in this country, women and students and teachers in a number of universities began to demand and set up women's studies courses. So roughly 10 years back, in the sense in the 1960s, women wanted some courses for themselves. Everything was until then man-oriented, supporting man. But now women also demanded, they wanted something concerning women, women-directed education. A number of universities began to demand and set up women's studies courses, syllabus, books concerning women they wanted, to claim a women-directed education. The other day I told you, vice chancellors were men, registrars were men. These things, this situation should change, Adrienne Rich says. And despite the inevitable accusations of unscholarly group therapy, faddism, etc., despite backlash and budget cuts, women's studies are still growing. Although there were some backlashes. Backlash means, negative reaction. Backlash. Tirichadi. You can say in Malayalam, Tirichadi. Despite the inevitable accusations of unscholarly, women's books, men said they are unscholarly, they are poor books, not worth reading books. Group therapy, faddism. Faddism is a word you should learn. F-A-D, fad. F-A-D, fad. Fad means an interest for something for a short while. So men said this feminist movement will remain in this world or in the United States only for a short time, only for a short period. After that, this will go, this will disappear. So faddism is the noun form of fad. For example, you can say the interest of Keralites in organic food is not a fad, it is here to stay. It will stay for a long time. Fad means remaining for a short time. So everything connected with women, they say are faddism. This will disappear after some time. Group therapy, faddism, and despite backlash and budget cuts. So whenever women demanded something, there were budget cuts. Government will say, no money with us for your programs. Budget cuts, women's studies are still growing. Although we had several problems from the men-controlled government, our movement is still growing, offering to more and more women a new intellectual grasp on their lives. LIVES, lives, is the plural of life. Lives. Grasp is understanding. An intellectual, more and more women, a new intellectual grasp, understanding on their lives. Because of women-oriented courses, now in the United States of America, women are trying to understand on their lives. They are going to study. Now they have begun studying about their own lives. New understanding of our history. A fresh vision of the human experience. And also a critical basis for evaluating what they hear and read in other courses. So when women's courses were started, women were able to understand what previously these courses were. They could compare one course with the previous courses. Next para. But my talk is not really about women's studies, much as I believe in their scholarly, scientific and human necessity. So the author, Adrienne Rich, tells you, but my talk, my means Adrienne Rich's. My talk is not really about women's